Hey guys, so I wanted to make a cutting video finally because I get a lot of people that ask me to do it. So pretty much my point of this video is not to glorify cutters nor victimize them. It's truly just to educate everyone in the situation, every perspective, and have all sides possibly viewed. Hopefully I'm doing my best. Just so people really understand more how to help, the psychology behind it, why someone does it, ways to help yourself, all of it. So it looks like I'm reading, by the way. I am. I did my homework, took a bunch of notes because I really wanted to be able to have this video be a tool and to be able to give you guys something that was helpful and that you could really use when you're going through this, or if you see someone going through it. So first question I got was, what does it mean to be a cutter? Well, a cutter is someone who uses like physical pain, or not just a cutter, but I guess self-harm. Uses physical pain to cope with like everyday stress and emotional struggles that this person is feeling. And basically what that means is, just like cigarettes or alcohol, they use it as an addiction, as like a way to like feel better when something overwhelming happens. I got asked why someone would want to cut. Basically, it's there's a few different reasons why people do it, and I'm going to try to explain them, and these are things that should not be judged. But again, when I go over these things, we need to open up our minds, and if you really want to understand why someone's doing this, this is going to be your chance. The first one is the one that I identify with, and that's emotional pain that you can't put into words. And so basically whenever, and that's kind of what this tattoo is, like whenever I would feel overwhelmed, or if I would feel sad or whatever, I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know how to like tell someone how I was feeling. So I was hurting myself because that was like the physical form of the emotion that I was feeling. So it would kind of help release that. Another one is when someone feels like their life is out of control. It's something in their life that they have control over. It's the physical pain that they control. Basically when a lot of people do it to punish themselves if they have like a troubling act or thought. Some people find it soothing, and this is something that I will delve into later, but it's more of a release for some people. And then some people also use it as a distraction, just to kind of keep them away from paying attention to like stressful things that are happening in their life. All of these stem from emotions that a cutter would have. All of those reasons are based off of, sadness or self-loathing or emptiness or guilt or rage. Those are all things that will kind of turn, that's what those emotions will turn into for a cutter. Different ways that people can self-harm themselves, because it's not just cutting. Scratching, burning, using lighters, hitting your head against things, punching walls, is something. Using like a random piercings, like not going to a professional and being safe, but having like just sticking like a safety pin through your arm or something. No, be safe with these things. Picking a wound and not letting it heal is one. Eating random objects and poisonous things around the house counts as well. And then having unsafe sex, which probably sounds funny, but when you are having lots of unsafe sex, it's actually a way people are self-harming themselves, and they're putting themselves in danger. Now, to people who don't cut, a lot of these things probably sound crazy because you don't understand why someone would want to put themselves through something like that. And it's truly just because you don't understand that type of thinking, and really that's all it is a different type of thinking. Mental illness is something that's really hard for people who don't go through it to understand. For example, with a physical illness like cancer or diabetes, like there is a physical medical treatment, so you can understand, you can connect the two and say, question answer type of a thing. But with a mental illness, when someone does not have that, they don't understand. And so to them, when someone's seeing like a therapist or a counselor, there's usually a stigma attached to that, and they usually are subjected to the assumption that something isn't right with you, and that, you know, couldn't be farther from the truth. Unfortunately, when people are uneducated, they tend to stereotype, and so that's unfortunately what has happened. For those of you who do not suffer from mental illnesses, for your educational value, basically, when you have a mental illness, you have chemicals in your brain that react, that cause emotion. Your chemicals are not balanced like a normal person's are, and they are causing emotional spikes, ups, downs, mania, depression, all of it. Now, different personality disorders have their different psychological reasons, but this is why psychologists help, because they understand medically, like, the way your minds work, the way that we think, and how to change that thought pattern and those thought processes. And that's why they are so important, and why it's important to not judge, because psychiatrists help people who can't help the way that they think to think better. So something that should not be judged. Another question that I do get asked a lot is if a cutter is someone who wants to die. And in most cases, that's farthest from the truth, and in fact, cutting will actually be the one thing that's probably keeping them alive. Now, the opposite side to that is that people who do cut themselves as a release or as an answer, mainly as an answer, if you're doing it consistently, you do have a higher risk of accidental suicide, which has happened to many people that I know. They cut too deep and have to go to the hospital, but they didn't mean to kill themselves or hurt themselves that bad, and it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, you have to be smart. If that's something that you're choosing to do with yourself, sitting there losing track of how deep you're going, like, don't push yourself like that. Like, don't, you know, be in denial as far as like, oh, I wonder how deep my skin. We all know that there's muscle and fatty in our insides. So again, if we decide to do that, we need to be safe. We need to, you know, be smart about these decisions, because I think there is, you know, a right and a wrong way for things, and, you know, we'll get more into the release side of it versus using it as an answer, but, you know, most of the time, cutters don't want to die. There are times, mostly they don't. Usually, they're just trying to find something to keep them alive, to keep them going in life. Now, what about people who cut for attention? Now, most cutters don't do it for attention. Most cutters actually do it in secret and actually hide a lot of guilt and shame and fear of being judged, so they don't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone, you know? Like, there's a lot of people, most of them don't do it for attention. But even if someone is, if, you know, if someone's wearing a tank top and their entire arm is just newly, you know, cut up, don't sit there and get mad, because it's like, if someone is doing that to you about something, it's like, it's not the right way to handle it. Go up to them. If they need attention, just be a human being and be like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, obviously you're trying to talk to someone, or you want someone to reach out to you. Just be that person. Why is that a bad thing? Why is it wrong to reach out to someone who's trying to get attention? They don't know how. You know, the only difference between someone who wants attention and does it for that, you know, is that people who cut, who hide it, don't know how to reach out to people and don't know how to get someone to come to them, or even to go to someone else. Someone who does it for attention is doing it in a way where they don't have to do it, where someone will come to them, hopefully, you know, on their own. And, you know, I don't see why that would be such a bad thing. And I think that, you know, people who are cutting, who are judging people who do it for attention, you know, is kind of, it's just unconducive. You know, we're all here to understand each other and to help each other, and we're not here to judge. So another thing I want to just talk about really fast too with that, parents with your teens that are cutting, do not chalk this up to, oh, they're a teenager and it's stupid drama that they're upset about, or, you know, oh, it's adolescence and puberty. Yeah, those are factors, I'm sure, but you need to understand that teenagers and children are new to life. They don't have your experience and they don't understand really the importance that you see in life. To them, you know, we're getting them ready to be adults, but they're still going through these huge life transitions and dealing with social pressures and figuring out who they are and, you know, having their academics, you know, weighing out on them constantly. You know, it's like they do go through a lot and they can't handle it like we can. So they're kind of like fish out of water when they're, you know, flopping around, and us just going, oh, well, that fish should know how to swim or know how to walk on its 2 feet. Well, no, they're still learning. They're still trying to do that. So don't just blow it off or dust it under the rug, you know. Talk to your kid and say, look, like, you're doing this for a reason. Why? How can I help you? How can we, you know, make this better? Because everyone deserves to be happy, and, you know, it shouldn't have to be at the end of a blade. So what I get asked too, what do you do if someone points out your scars? One, don't take it personally because they're there. Again, a decision you decided to make, which is fine. Again, not a bad one, but still a decision you decided to make and has now molded you into the person that you are right now, / molding. And you need to understand that when someone questions it, and especially in a negative way, they may just be ignorant, but it's 100% someone who is uneducated about the topic. So educate them. Let them know, yes, you know what, I have scars, and just like any human being, I have grown from my past, and these are a part of my past and who I am becoming. And if someone still continues to be a dick, then you laugh and walk away, because really, who gives a shit? It's some fucking stranger. Who cares? Who cares? If you're a good person, who gives a shit? Literally, you should not be caring about some random person that's like, those scars you used to cut yourself. Oh, you're doing that for attention. Oh, okay. Am I? Great, Miss Professional over here telling me what's up. Thank you very, very much. Walk away. Who cares? Anyways, does the thought ever go away? No, it does not. Just like any other codependent habit, it's an addiction. It's something that someone is reliant on to feel better, or because they feel better while or after doing it. So, that's what this is about. I'm going to be giving you some best practice coping skills, and I'm going to help you learn to redirect your brain when you start having these feelings, and hopefully give you tools that can help you with that. So is mutilation wrong? There are two sides to this, and I believe both are based on intentions. One, by using the blade as an answer, I believe that it is wrong. I think that we as people need to learn how to handle our emotions and things that happen when something bad happens, instead of, you know, sitting here going, okay, well, yeah, my boyfriend just dumped me. My life is over. Cut, cut, cut. That's obviously not gonna help your situation, really. All that's gonna do is put a band-aid over a giant gash in your arm. You still need stitches, right? Like, you still need to get that fixed, but really you're just putting the band-aid over it. That's all cutting technically is putting a band-aid over a deeper emotional battle that you're trying to fight. So acknowledge it, confront it, and understand that, you know, the blade will never fix your problems. It can help release pain later, but your problems won't go away. Learn to cope with your problems. Learn to, you know what, this sucks. You know, if a boyfriend breaks up with you, understand that people can't control chemistry and you can't control emotions, and if you're attracted or not attracted, or if you like someone or if you don't, those things aren't controlled either. Just like our mental issues, they're not controlled and should not be taken personally. Yeah, it's gonna hurt because you were probably emotionally attached to that person, but let it go. It's like, fuck, this sucks, but I will find someone else. Happiness is all perspective and all on if you want to be happy and if you're choosing to be happy, because if not, it's never gonna work. Another sign is, again, using the blade as a form of a release. Once you work through your problems and you're like, all right, you know what, this is cool, like, it sucks, but, you know, blah, blah, blah is coming out of this, like, it'll be fine, and you're still kind of feeling agitated, you know, using, like, for example, BDSM as a way to, you know, cope with that. I don't know if any of you, some of you probably know what it means, but BDSM stands for bondage, discipline, and sadomasochism, and something that should not just be jumped into, that you need to do homework on and actually read up on it. And again, be safe, use common sense, be safe. I can't stress that enough. But, you know, join the community where you can meet someone and, you know, not even in a relationship way, but have a bond with someone that can, you know, whip you or flog you or, you know, do professional piercing or, you know, whatever. Like, that whole world is all part of physical pain as a release, and it's positive. It's supposed to be positive. So using that as a release, like I said, fine. Don't ever use it as an answer because it will never solve your problems. What are you doing if you're a cutter and you want to open up? One, you need to understand that it may not go as planned and they may not understand. You can always hopefully show them this video, but they really don't always understand. And if that is the case, you know, talk to someone else. Don't let that discourage you from opening up to someone. It's just you happen to find someone that maybe isn't able to understand, and that's not a bad thing. It's just unfortunately what it is. You can always show someone my video. Hopefully it can help them understand a little bit better as well. But you know, don't be afraid to open up to someone. And what do you do if you think someone's cutting? First, don't let myths ever get in the way of helping. Don't be like, oh, it's attention ball. Like, really, if you see someone cutting, like, you should reach out and help it, because usually it's just someone who needs help talking about something that's going on in their life. And even if you don't know, just ask, because you asking isn't going to make someone want to start cutting. So you can always just, hey, I'm just, you know, I saw this, it's a little kind of weird, just wanted to ask, like, no big deal, but, and just, you know, be concerned, but don't be like, what is that? And like freak out on someone, because it's not gonna work. You don't want to attack someone. You don't want to try to like control their recovery to force them to stop. They need to come to that on their own. And other ways a cutter can cope with everyday emotions, so ways that you can learn to stop cutting or how to handle your life problems before turning to a blade. First is identify your self-harm triggers. So what emotions cause you to hurt yourself? Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it shame? Is it guilt? What is it? What is making you want to hurt yourself? And if you have trouble with identifying your emotions, you need to start tuning in more with your emotional awareness, which means that you know what you're feeling and why, and it's the ability to identify and express any feeling moment to moment, and you understand the connection between your emotion and your actions. So really just when something happens, stopping and saying, okay, look, like when you feel yourself, you want to cut, what do I feel right now? Do I feel angry? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel agitated? What do I feel? What do I need to understand? And once you feel that way, well, what made me feel this way? And if that's, you know, something that can be fixed, then work towards fixing it. If it's like me where you'll just feel angry for no reason, then turn on a TV show you like or listen to a song, because happiness is just like smiling versus frowning. You know how when you smile it takes less muscles than when you frown? When you're sad, it's like the biggest things are crushing down on you and you're like, well, I can't be happy. But literally, you can find so much joy in like a song or something just like makes you happy. You're just like, you listen to it and you're like, I'm like getting pumped up now. Like, you have to focus on those little things. And then why should you stop cutting? Again, I stopped cutting because for me, I didn't want to hurt my mom, because I know that the pain that it would have caused her to see me do that wasn't worth me not being able to handle my emotions. So that's why I started talking and why I was able to start really being aware of what I was feeling and why. But I don't know, just don't ever let being afraid of what you're feeling stop you from getting help, and don't be in denial of what you're doing if you're hurting yourself too much. If it's getting too over the top, you need to have boundaries. You need to be safe. If it's a release for you, again, make sure you're using it as a tool, not an answer. It is never an answer, and something that you should be safe and be smart about. You know, I just want everyone to really understand that there are different sides to this, and that as, you know, a parent, they don't want to see their child in pain. So when your parents get upset, that's why, is that you are hurting yourself and they don't want to see their baby hurt. That is why your parents freak out. Kids cut because they don't know how to talk about things, or they, you know, are trying to have control of something. You know, it's your job to ask and figure out. Use those, you know, examples I gave you, and maybe help them try to identify why they're doing this, you know, and work towards healthy ways to express how they feel. I don't know. I hope that this helped. I hope that you guys can get something out of this, and I hope that you stay healthy and stay positive, and, you know, understand that happiness is a state of mind and is something that you choose for yourself, not something that just comes. You have to find happiness in yourself. And sadness is easy. Being sad and being angry is easy, and we want to fix it with, you know, pain because it makes sense to us, but that's not conducive to just a healthy mental state. And ultimately, at least for me, I know I love my crazy side, and I love that I can keep part of that, but I don't want to be crazy. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to live the next 80 years depressed and sad. I want to enjoy while I'm here, because then what? I'm going to die and it just been sad for 80 years? Like, what the fuck is that? I don't want to do that. So, I don't know. Hopefully you feel the same, and I hope that for everyone out there, this helps, and you can use this as a tool to really just understand more about yourself or someone you know. Know that you are loved. I love you all very, very much, and that, you know, all of this is just a bump in the road and something that we can work through and get to a good side on. So I hope you all have a beautiful, amazing, wonderful, forever day, and I love you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.